Guess who it is? You guys have not heard from us in a minute, but
right.
we are here. We're still here
We're still here on YouTube.
on YouTube. So we're coming back to you guys this year with our top 5 films of 2025.
2025. What a year
Yeah.
for films.
A very unforgettable year in
Yeah.
in certain respects and in certain ways. It's interesting. We had a couple of films come out this year that sort of changed the game. So we are definitely going to get into those films later. If you would like, you can go ahead and go back and watch the our previous video of our favorite films of 2024. So the funny thing about this year is that 2 of me and Dylan's favorite directors put out films this year. So
That's right.
like it was gonna be a great year for us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But before we get into our 5 top films of 2025, we're gonna throw out some honorable mentions out there. Let us know maybe some of these are your top 5s and they didn't make it to our list. And that would only be because we're better than you. I'm absolutely joking. That is not the case.
So that's our honorable mentions. Now for the main event.
For the main event, and I'm gonna say it again, for our top 5 films of 2025. So number 5 for me is surprisingly Weapons, directed by Zach Cregers. And this is why this film is so high on my list. So some people have been calling this the year of horror films because certain horror films are just getting such a notoriety, and which I'm sort of conflicted on because I'm not a huge horror guy, but I do like creative approaches to films just in general. And I think Weapons, that's what I enjoy so much about this movie. Weapons, the reason it makes my top 5 is because it's the type of film that somebody is clearly using the genre in the most creative way they can, which is no surprise to Cregers because, of course, he did this with Barbarian. But Weapons, it takes such a creative approach. I love the image of the kids running and like with their hands out, which, of course, some people say it was taken from anime. But still, I mean, some of the coolest images are in anime anyway. The only problem I had with the film is that I felt like he had so much of it that was well executed, well written, well done, but it just, once again, like I mentioned with Eddington, it just didn't bring it all together strong enough for me. It did, by the end, it did bring it all together within a particular character's story, but it did it so much within that person's story that it sort of ignored all the other things that it introduced that made it so cool with the different characters. But I like the way they brought the witch in and how they connected the horror plot to that and what she was doing, because that's something nowadays you just don't get that much of, you know what I mean? And so I think he brought that together well. I think the sequences were creepy and strange and otherworldly, and those are kind of things that I like that not many directors can pull off. And that's why Weapons is my number 5. So
Solid pick.
yeah.
My number 5 is gonna be Marty Supreme. We watched it 2 days ago? Mm-hmm. So it's very fresh, and so I'm still, it's hard to, I guess, you got to sit with it for a little while. I like the fact that the ambition behind it, which is also the ambition of the character. Meta,
Man, so meta.
It's very meta, yeah. Josh Safdie directed and co-wrote, and it was really good. It's a period piece, and cinematography is great. The score is great, even though that's one of my issues with it, because it's like a synthy, like 80s score, which doesn't fit the time. He was done on purpose like that, of course, but I just didn't. That's something that bothers me a little bit. But great characters and good performance from that little Timmy Chalamet. And
Did
yeah.
you just call him Little Timmy?
Little Timmy Chalamet. This to me was like, it's a reason why to go to a theater. And so anytime you have like, I was glad we went to see it in the theater because of how good it was. And so that was my number 5. And it could be the listing and the rating of it, I could have switched around, but for now it's 5 because of the problems I had with it.
Number 4.
Number 4.
I don't know. I hear this echoing in my head like a number 4. Anyway.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm
okay, buddy.
Okay. Whoa, look.
Just in case you're wondering.
No doubt.
We got any problems?
No problems here.
Moving on. My number 4 is Marty Supreme.
What?
Which is why I wanted to jump right into it. Yes, I think so. One of the things I noticed immediately with Marty Supreme is that it's clear which out of the Safdie brothers is the one that likes to build the tension in a film, because I saw The Smashing Machine also, which I want to go ahead and put like a plug right now, because that would be an honorable mention. I like the Smashing Machine. I think as a film, I think for a film as a whole, it had its problems. It kind of just tapered, but that didn't bother me a lot. I think watching The Rock go through what he goes through is really engaging, and I like the way the film is positioned in the sense of the tension that it is building but from a man who can like knock your head off to watch him get so upset with characters throughout the film and not doing anything about it. But you know he can. That's the tension in The Smashing Machine. However, with Marty Supreme, it's just straight up classic Safdie brother tension in it. You know, it's straight up like uncut gems, like somebody's going to get killed by a gangster at some point. These guys are really good about writing films about upper New York guys, if you know what I mean. And it definitely is the case with Marty Supreme. I enjoy watching Timothy Chalamet just act like a sleazeball throughout the entire film. He plays it so well. I was actually sharing with Dylan that what's interesting about Marty Supreme to me, as far as watching Timothy Chalamet's acting, is because I watched The Complete Unknown last year, and around the same time, and it's very different for me watching Timothy Chalamet play Bob Dylan in comparison to playing Marty Mauser. Josh, he knows what he's doing. He really knows what he's doing. Like that film, it flows. It had its problems. I felt like some of the plot points were incredibly random and just sort of thrown in there. But stylistically, he knows what he's doing. They know what they're going for. They know what they're going for with the beats, with the tone, with the speed, everything. And then by the end, on one of our previous podcasts, me and Dylan are talking about movies that have strong endings. And I mentioned how not every good filmmaker is a good closer. But Josh Safdie is a good closer, because the way that film ends, it makes it all worth it. And that's what I mean in comparison to Eddington about making a film all one thing by the time you get to the end. That's exactly what happens with Marty Supreme. So that's why that one's my number 4.
My number 4 is Weapons.
So we did a weird thing there.
A little switch around. So Weapons blew me away. Seeing it in theater, like it was one of those movies that I had heard about, wasn't so sure if I wanted to see it or not in the theater. Also, I have like mixed feelings about horror films these days, and didn't know if I wanted to see it. But hearing about it, because it was described, I think, by Zach Cregger as he wanted to make an epic horror. So an epic film that was also a horror film. And I just like that idea, because The Shining does that. I mean, that to me is like an epic film that is a horror film.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's the scale of it. And so that alone was like, okay, I'm interested to see this. And then it has that feel to it. It has this scope that is big, that revolves around this mystery of where these kids went. Mm-hmm. He follows along with different characters. So a little bit like Magnolia would do. Mm-hmm. You know, you get a segment of this and then a segment of this. And there's one particular character that he does that when he does it, it feels like such a departure of the plot. Even though it does go back to the plot, but that's kind of the only downside that I saw in that movie.
Yeah.
But the movie has one of the best villains. This is a great year for villains in cinema. Like, this villain in it is a true villain, like, and such an iconic one that it very much stands apart from just a typical, like, it's just really well written, and it's the whole thing centers around this villain, and it's great. And played Amy Madigan plays this character, and she does a fantastic job. And I didn't like it. It has a depth to it that I didn't expect, because you kind of go more into her story, and like you find out why she is the way she is and what's going on.
Well, number 3.
Number 3.
So my number 3 is, and the reason I chuckle is because this movie slowly climbed to number 3 the more I thought about it, and that is Bugonia from Yorgos Lanthimos. Yes. Now, I gotta start it off by saying, yes, I do like Yorgos' film, and if you guys remember from the previous 2024 video that we made, his film, I think, was my number 2, I want to say, Kinds of Kindness.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really appreciated on so many levels. Yorgos Lanthimos is brilliant at bringing us, there's always some kind of moral dilemma somebody has to deal with in his films. And he's so good at that. He's so good at bringing in the madness and like making these characters to where they have to really think about it, and making the audience think about it, making us wonder, well, man, would I do that? So on and so forth. He's great at that. So since he's so good at that, in Bugonia, of course, we get most of the same thing. You know, you're pretty much trying to figure out if this one guy is lying about all of the claims that he's making based on aliens, us being under the influence and the attack by aliens and such. The fact that he answers it still leaves a question. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, because the question in the film is it about, you know, whether or not the aliens are there? It's the actions that people take when they find out that there's nothing left. The actions that people, the mental anguish somebody goes through when they realize that they're either losing something, that they've lost something, or that there is no future. And that's what it's dealing with. That's the real question that it's dealing with. So I appreciated that Hoodwink. Of course, it goes without saying, Jesse Plemons was incredible. I even liked Emma Stone's character in this film. I enjoyed watching her in this movie, because in this movie I feel like she's the most tame in this movie that she has been in a while, especially with Yorgos' film. In this movie, she was very tame, very posed. Her character was sort of linear. In a sense, if you compare it to the other films that she's done with Yorgos. Her character was pretty linear, I'd say, but still enjoyable. So I don't know why Yorgos is making so many movies nowadays. It's weird, like, but hopefully he can keep on making some good ones like he is making. But that's why number 3 was. That's why Bugonia is my number 3.
Yeah, I still need to watch that. That was actually, I wanted to watch that before, because I was like, oh man, it might be on my list. But yeah, I'm excited for it though.
Yeah, it's Yorgos.
Dang.
It is Yorgos.
Yeah, that director is great. My number 3 is Sinners. It's my number 3. Yeah, for one, it's a very solid film, all the way through. There's really no missteps, I think, and that's when getting these like, even the top 5, you really want like a perfect film, as lousy as that sounds, or you just want it to work really well. And so for 3, it's like it works very well, and I like what he was doing. The director owns the rights or something. I don't know the full thing with that, but he basically, I think in like so many years, he will own the rights to this film fully. So I love that. I love like filmmakers, the artists getting control back of their art, I think is very important. Especially because you see like where art can just get thrown to the side, and like, I mean, movies like they get canned and no one can ever see them, and that's more and more lately being a thing. And so I love that about it. Now, aside from it being a great film, but that is part of it. It's like, I just like the story behind it. And I mean, great performances. Cinematography is awesome. There's a sequence in this film that is very unique and like masterfully crafted, and it's just so beautiful. It's like one of the most striking sequences of any film this whole year. And so, yeah, I really like it. I think why it's number 3 instead of higher is because there's films that I connected with a little bit more later, but it's a masterpiece. It's really good, and that is my number 3.
My number 2 is gonna be One Battle After Another, and now trust me, it was neck and neck with number 1. But first of all, I just have to express the appreciation of when we went and saw One Battle After Another in the theater. And it reminded me of what it feels like to watch a film made by somebody that really knows what they're doing. As soon as the movie started, it had a rhythm to it. It had that PTA flow to it, and we just hadn't seen that in a while. Not even in I hadn't seen Licorice Pizza, but I know some people have told me like even with Licorice Pizza, it didn't seem as much as his usual stuff, maybe a little bit, but it just felt so there. Like you're there, you're present. You're watching him establish that character so well. And PTA has such a way of establishing things in his films to where you don't even realize it's being established to you until later. And that's just, God, I miss that. Like, I just miss that in films. And when we watched that, I was like, that's right. This is how it feels, man. That's right. Okay. But yeah, there's a lot to be said that can be said about One Battle After Another. But essentially, it's really solid. It's PTA being PTA. And it's actually, what's interesting is it's his most modern film, I want to say. Because usually he does period pieces, films about certain times, but then he steps into 2000, at least as far as my understanding, 2025, or either close. And he just keeps with the flow. One of the things I like about Leonardo DiCaprio's character is that as crazy and as zany as that character is, essentially he is the most sincere and most genuine parent in that film. And he's not, even though he's problematic and he has his problems, but that is his motivating thing throughout that film, is to take care of his daughter. Even though, you find out the truth about that situation, but that's what that's why this film is number 2. It's a very, very high number 2 on my list, but I was so excited to see this film done well. Oh, also, I just have to say, I think Sean Penn I really hope he wins supporting actor, because watching him play that character is a huge part of why I love that film so much. When he does that creepy walk down the street, that walk is unforgettable. Sean Penn played that character so well, I do not want to meet him, because I would think that's that character. And as creepy and strange as that character is, he was so complicated. It had so many layers. And I noticed that after a second watch. At first, I just thought he was this racist psycho, but he had a lot going on. There were a lot of layers to him, because I think in his own twisted way, he genuinely loved Teyana Taylor's character. Like, I think he genuinely loved her in his own twisted way. He's just a very twisted and perverted guy, which is why, and I think though that gang, that cult that he's trying to start, I think they saw in him. They're like, you really love that crazy black woman. We're not letting you into this, you know what I mean? So anyway, all of that is why One Battle After Another is my number 2 for 2025.
My number 2 is Frankenstein.
Ooh.
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Okay.
This movie, I was surprised by as well. One thing that I like about movies is when, to me, like I've described, like a good solid movie is something like it's a single paint stripe. So it's like it's one paint stripe, and within that paint stripe, it's a whole story, but it's cohesive. It all flows together. It doesn't feel like a show where a show can go off in different things and do different things and kind of like have show different characters, and it can go in a million different ways. But like a movie really should be just one paint stripe, and this one was just so solid from beginning to end. It starts off with him narrating, and then half the movie, and then the other half is cool. The monster starts narrating. Cool, yeah. You saw this?
Oh yeah, I did see it.
Oh sweet. Yeah. Oh cool. Just that alone, because when the monster starts to narrate, then you really get like, then it gets like really good, because it's already good, but then it like you just start to see like what the movie's about when he starts to narrate. And I guess in the same way that like this you said Begonia was like this sense of what happens when you kind of lose everything. This is very much like that. Like the ending is like this sense of, I love the ending. I love the dialogue that the monster says at the end. It's just so perfect. Like I think that ending of that movie really was great. And it's very sad and soulful, and it's got this kind of gothic romance to it, which I also really like. And it's like this tragedy, but love there somewhere, and it just I like that a lot. And it's one of those movies that after I watched it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I just kept thinking about that ending, and whenever that happens, when a movie just like sticks in your mind, that's when I know like something's really special about that, because that movie just like still like I still think about it, and I think to me it's maybe not his best film, but I do think it's his masterpiece of a movie. It's just so good. Like, I guess you could say Pan's Labyrinth is maybe technically better or more interesting or whatever, but I think it's more like unique. But because this is an adaptation of a book, but it's very much his movie. Like it's his style, it's his tone, it's his, like the costume design and the props and the location, and like it's very much Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. And yeah, that's why it's my number 2. Very great film. Really like it.
So, well,
oh man,
we are down to number 1.
And
I think we both know what each other's number 1 is.
I think we do.
But I'm just gonna throw it out there. Sinners is number 1 for me, and I am definitely gonna explain to everybody why I think so. Ryan Coogler is at a place in his career where he's at a place many aren't. For one, and I'll just say this, for one, as an African American, but also just as a filmmaker in general, because you have somebody that started off writing and making his own films, and then he does Marvel movies. He does 2 Black Panther films, which are like, you guys know that, Marvel is like the huge head honcho when it comes to huge production, so on and so forth. So you get him going through that, and then now he makes his own film. And so it's like all of that positioned him perfectly to where he can make a film like Sinners and then have the influence and the impact that it has on our culture. Okay, now all of that is just outside of the actual movie. I honestly think it is going to win Best Picture. And the reason I believe it's going to win Best Picture is because sometimes, some years, they'll give it to the art house film like they just did this past year with Honora. But sometimes they also give it to a film that has a cinematic scale to it. And that is definitely what Sinners is. It's a huge world. When you really look and pay attention to what's going on in the film, it's a huge world they're building. I always say, like, within an hour of the film, we don't even get vampires. I mean, you start off with one, right, but there's like a whole hour in the film that we're not even engaging with any vampires or anything. He's establishing that world, and he's taking his time. And you can actually make a spinoff from the film Sinners and it not even be about vampires. It just be about people. And I think that says a lot about the script, about the writing, because Ryan Coogler wrote it, and about the approach that he had to it. Ryan Coogler is using the setting of vampires to have a discussion about humanity and about our culture, about who we are, about what really is evil. And he's also using that to sort of twist it on its head. Like, I love the fact that it goes from looking at this Irish man as a racist to looking at him as a vampire that wants him to join them. Like, that's just so fascinating to me. When you take the racial element and you mix it with vampirism, it presents this question. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Can we all be one under vampirism? And if we can, how does that make us look? Like, we need vampirism to make us what? Anyway, that is my number one film for the year. I really think it's going to win Best Picture. I think it has all the right parts to win Best Picture. I think Ryan Coogler is in a fascinating position in his career to really make an impact on the cinematic world. So, yeah.
Very solid. Yeah. I just wish he didn't hate Irish people so much. All right, my number one. Guess what?
I think I know, man.
There's one battle after another.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Superman.
You know what? That actually was my honorable, one of my honorable.
Oh,
mentions.
really?
Yeah.
Good
I like
James
Superman a
Gunn.
lot. One battle after another, to me, stands so far apart from all the other top movies of this year that it's just crazy to me. Watching it is like you forget like what movies can be, because you have typical like, well, this is like what a movie is, and it's got to do this and this and this and this, and that movie just does whatever it wants to do, but it does it so well that it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to like
good point.
play along with the conventions of movies. It just, to me, it like elevates like what art is and like what movies can be, and like it's just so good. It was amazing. I've seen it twice. I've seen it the second time. Thankfully, I saw it in IMAX, and that again is like with Sinners. It's like it's a movie that like you would want to see on the biggest screen possible, because it's just everything about it so cinematic and beautiful, and the way it was shot, and like the score is Johnny Greenwood, which I mean honestly was really good, but like I mean he's such a great score composer. But yeah, that character Lockjaw by Sean Penn. I mean, this is also why like it was like the year of good villains, because he's. You're right. It's not one note. This character is like horrible. He's a horrible character, and yet you like feel sorry for him at the end of the movie, which is like an amazing thing to do, because it's. I mean, that's not easy, right? Like, because he's a horrible person, but he just brings this depth to it, like. That you're just like, you just feel bad for him, and it just yeah, love the characters. I mean, really, it is his movie. I think it's as much as it's about like the father and the daughter relationship, which that is the core of it. That's the heart of it. It, in a lot of ways, is a character study on this Lockjaw guy.
Yeah.
Because you just like, and at first when it first started, you know, I'm not a huge Sean Penn fan, and so I went in like, I was like, okay, this is Leonardo DiCaprio working with Paul Thomas Anderson. That's why I went. And then you start to realize, you're like, oh, here's Sean Penn's character. Why has he even got to be in it? Oh, he's like I don't like this guy, and like, but you like spend so much time, screen time on this character that you start to be like, okay, I guess this is the movie. It's more of his, like, the most interesting things about the movie is Lockjaw and what he's going through and what he's doing. And like, it's all very interesting. And like the secret, you know, world that he's like trying to enter into this thing. And, but beautiful film, just beautiful. And just the relationship between the father and the daughter is a beautiful story. And seeing kind of like, you know, DiCaprio going through trying to get his daughter and trying to find her, and you realizing like as the movie goes, you're like, he's not accomplishing anything. He's like constantly like one step behind everything happening. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of, you're like, oh, this is like, he's not actually doing anything, but it's beautiful because he's trying to do something. He's trying to like save the day and be the hero, but he's not the hero at all. But you watch him as he goes
so washed up.
these just wacky situations and like the hijinks that he gets into, and he's just the whole time he's having a rough go of it. One thing that I really love, that sequence, the driving sequence, where it's a car chase done. I've never seen anything done this way, and it's like the ocean, but it's a road, but the way he filmed it is amazing, and just like. It's he
captures those heels, man.
He captures those heels, man. That is my number one film of 2025. We did it.
We did it, man. We did it. Good year in movies. So let us know what you guys think. You guys got a list? You know, what are your top 5? What are your top worst, even maybe?
Oh man.
Hopefully, none of the ones we think are on our top 5 are on your worst list.
Better not be.
I mean, but if so, you know, let's have a conversation, a civil conversation.
Yeah, let's talk.
Let's talk. I mean, we could give phone numbers and maybe have a chat or something like that. Maybe
we're gonna track you down, find you at your work, and say how wrong you were for thinking that our top 5 was your top worst.
Why would you do that to us?
Why would you do that to us? Yeah, comment down below. What did you think? What's your top 5? What do you think our list? Was our rankings wrong? Should Sinners, was I too harsh on it because the Irish thing? That's actually not why. That's not why. Anyway.
So we are A Place Pictures, local filmmakers here in Austin, Texas. We love film and talking about it and stuff. So come back to this channel for more content like this. Also come back for more podcasts and just films in general. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
Bye.